I'd like to share with you on this week's Parshas Tazriya something beautiful from Rabbi Levi Yitzchok, the Rebbe's father. In this week's Parshas is all about the laws and the dinim of Tzara'ath, of leprosy, and in nigoyim, an affliction in the skin of a person's body. The Gemara says a very unusual statement. All Mefarshim ask, what's the explanation of this? In Yevmot of Samach Beis, the Gemara says, Isha Ra'a, a bad wife, an evil wife, is like Tzara'ath. Leba'la is like a leprosy in a spiritual sense to her husband. What's the connection to Tzara'ath? Explains Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. The Tikkun Zoyar in Tikkun Nun Hey says that the letters Nega, Nun, Gimel, Ayin, if you change it around, you will get to the word Oineg, Ayin, Nun, Gimel, same letters as Nega. And the Tikkun Zoyar says, Ein Lamata, there's nothing lower than a Nega, than an affliction. Ve'ein Lamaila, there's nothing greater than Oineg, pleasure, pleasantness. When do we use the word Oineg? Says Rabbi Levi Yitzchok, we say it now, we're davening on Shabbos, וקראת לשבת Oineg. Shabbos is the time we know of Shlolom Bayis, unity between a husband and a wife. By Negoyim, if someone has leprosy, it's just the opposite. Just the opposite. Bodod Yeshev, he sits separate. Lechutz, outside La'oholoi, and the Gemara learns out. La'oholoi means me'ishto. He has to be a separation of a husband and wife. The opposite of Shlolom Bayis. And that's why Isha Ra, someone who wants to make machlokes, an argument, separation, that's like Tzara'ath, leba'la. That's no unity. That's the opposite of Oineg. Continues Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. That's why you will find an interesting thing. The Gemara says, Daf Kuf Yud in Sandhedrin, Korach was a person who made machlokes. The Gemara says over there, if you read this, I'm not going to go into all the details. It was his wife who motivated him and encouraged him in this machlokes. And the Gemara continues over there, that whoever makes a machlokes, ro'oi lehitztara, he's worthy of becoming a Metzoira, having leprosy, this infliction, because he causes separation. This will cause separation by him too. No Shlolom Bayis, the opposite of Oineg, וקראת לשבת Oineg. The Gemara says in Ksubas of Samach Beis that Shabbos is a time of unity, of family unity. So just like we have in a physical sense, Nega is the opposite from Oineg. Nega is separation. Oineg is unity, Shlolom Bayis. Same thing is also explained by Rabbi Yitzchok, is in a spiritual sense between a Yid and the Eibishter. There's a pasuk in Parshas Bereshis, and it says, when Adam Arishan was in Gan Eden, it says, V'nohor, the river came out, Eden, from Eden, lahashkois es hagan, to water the Gan. The Gan goes on the 53 Parshas of the Torah. Gan is 53. Where does it come from? It comes from Hashem's wisdom. Explains the Chassidus. The Nor goes on Bina, David's understanding. Its source is from Eden. Just like the river has the well from below, from hidden, and then it sprouts out in a broad river flowing on. Same thing is also the wisdom of Hashem came out, the Chochmah and Bina, into the Torah. When a person bonds with Hashem, he has that Oineg. He has that V'nohor yoytze me'eden lahashkes hasagan. Look at the main points over here, says Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. If you take the three letters, Eden is the source, that's the Chochmah. Bina is the Nohor. And then lahashkes hasagan, to water the Gan. Eden, Nohor. Gan, Rosh Tevis Oineg. So just like we have in a physical sense, וקראת לשבת Oineg is the unity of a בעלה, אשתו, husband and a wife. Same thing is also with the Eibishter. Eibishter also wants a unity between the Yid and the Eibishter. That's Oineg. Through this, what we connect through Torah, we have that bond with Hashem. And just to conclude, everything fits according with the Rebbe's father. He says, Vayikach Korach. If you take the words Vayikach Korach, this Korach wanted to make separation, and this caused through his wife. The words Vayikach Korach is exactly the same gematria as Eden, Nohor, and Gan. Add it up, you will see it comes out to exactly the same gematria. So Koirach the Machlokes was the opposite. He was Nega. He was Negoyim. Tzara'ath, Ishara, Tzara'ath, leba'ala. Koirach's wife was like a Tzara'ath to him. He caused him to make Machlokes. Oineg is the unity, וקראת לשבת oineg, and also Gan Eden. All this is Rosh Hashanah of Oineg. There's nothing greater than Oineg, and there's nothing lower than a Nega. Oineg and Nega, the opposite. One, this is Sholom, peace, unity, and this is, God forbid, Machlokes. A good Shabbos.